So I guess the stage break's 45. I overheard them talking about it.
Did you send me the right link to the right page?
I did.
It's just a black page on my screen.
Oh, that's why. No. Try it again.
Try the link again?
Yeah.
Still nothing.
Alright, good
Does it have to be a new one?
What?
Okay, 10-4.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the
Yeah.
B&R Racing Network as we are live here from SRU Xfinity Series from Iowa Speedway, the track that Rusty Wallace built, and where are we at here? Oh,
Yeah.
race information. So, we're in Newton, Iowa. Track temp 83 degrees, 76 degrees outside, 14% humidity, clear skies, 5 mile per hour. I hope he hits a damn grand slam again. 5 mile per hour wind. Fuel 75%, 170 laps, 148.7 miles. Wonder what that is in kilometers. Will sound a lot more interesting, as Bull would say. 4 sets of tires, 1 quick fix, 2 attempts at the PWC. And these phenomenal stage breaks. Will, lap 45.
Yes, these phenomenal stage breaks never disappoint either because it can be some interesting racing to that stage break as we've seen before. Newton, Iowa. So racing here in the cornfields, like Brian said, the place that Rusty built. It is 7/8 of a mile, 1.4 kilometer oval. Not quite a D shaped, but some people would probably call this a D shape, but it's not. It's a inspiration of Richmond and a couple of other places, but mainly Richmond. So it has progressive banking.
Get a
The
brain
front
fart?
straightaway slightly. The front straightaway, 10 degrees of banking. The back straightaway has 4 degrees of banking, so it's a bit more flatter, and you don't feel like you're about to fall out of the seat going down the back straightaway. But the corners has progressive banking in it from 12 to 14 degrees of banking. And we have to remember, Brian, that there is a bump at the top of 1 and 2. If you hit it wrong, you're either going to find the wall or your car is just going to break loose and you're going to whip it around. 3 and 4 is kind of tricky because I feel like it's kind of like driving. I feel like this track is just like a small Kansas, but as you can see on the track map, Brian already has the handy dandy track map pulled up for the folks to see, and you can see how the angles of 3 and 4. You almost have to double diamond it just about to get a good run through the corner. Turns 1 and 2, it's a bit angled differently, but these corners, you can see the angle of the track map here, where you have to come off of turns 2 and 4. Starting grid this evening, Brian, will consist of these drivers, and they are Jeff Gilmore first, Zachary Rongich second, Nick Rader qualifying in third, Zach Deutscher qualifying in fourth, J.D. O'Brien in the Cookie Monster Mobile, I do believe, is in fifth position. Bryce Gainey
I thought you were going to say fifth miss.
in sixth position. Daddy's Story, right? It was getting close, man. We need a couple more Canadians in here because it is almost Canada versus America, I tell you. Philip Bridgman in 8th position, Brandon Hartwell 9th, Michael Yarrow 10th, David Cassidy 11th, Terry Duguay 12th, Kevin Roy 13th in his Toyota, Jim Comensberger 14th in his Chevrolet, Paul Buzz Cohen, I may be starting this in 15th, maybe. Bobby D, 16th. Jason Adams, 17th. James Small in 18th. Michael Palmer, 19th. And Jack Clemens in 20th. I thought I said 19th twice. I might have, but
You might have.
anywho,
You just
yeah,
might have.
I just might have. So we have
So, well,
at
Iowa,
least,
the wonderful track.
yeah.
Tricky. You know all about it. Turns 1 and 2, those bumps on the outside lane can be treacherous.
And there's also bumps a little bit on the bottom side, but they're not as bad, I feel like, as the ones up top can be. The middle, you almost don't want to go there, Brian. You don't want to straddle these seams on this track. If you straddle the seams or make a transition and straddle them the wrong way, it will bite you big time in the butt. Nip it in the butt. That's what Barney Fife would always say, and this track will do that to you very easily. Jeff Gilmore having a good qualify. Yes, sir.
I don't say so. So this outlaps very quick. They pretty much pull out and the pace car jumps in.
They don't. Iowa doesn't have a couple of. They don't have a couple of warm-up laps. I thought it was small enough that they still like.
Oh wait, maybe they do one more. Okay. I always thought it was a quick out in the end. Well, Hideki Matsui gets to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. We know.
Thank you for reminding me about the baseball game. I don't know. Well, I do know why I had to. Yes, now we get to be distracted all night. Jason's gonna love this one. So.
Hey, we've been doing it for 4 days now, so.
Yeah, it's okay. I did it all day Sunday. Nobody cared.
I did. No.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. Anywho, so Monday was a trip. So there wasn't a ball game Sunday. That was the travel day. Anyway, green flag about to be waved by Barney once we see the cars eventually come through turn 4. I like the camera. We're just anticipating. It's a long build-up, and away we will go as the green flag is out now here at Iowa. Not all 20 qualifiers started this or practice. Not all 20 people that participated in practice, I don't think, started this race. So I think we only had 17 starters, Brian. So as we see everybody getting through the first lap, okie dokie, it looks like nobody had a choke. Oh, as we say that, going into turn number 1, the 7 gets it wrong. And just, oh man, Danny Story in the 87 going to just T-bone Deutscher in the 7. Did he get help? I just think he just lost it getting into the corner, right? Or did he get help? Or it's going to be a mixture, isn't it? Yes.
He got a little bit, maybe a little bit of a hit from the 8 there, because I think Zach was lifting a little bit earlier to arc in to avoid those bumps. Because you can avoid those bumps, you can hit that apex pretty good without it upsetting the rear of the car. So unfortunately, Zach have to use his maybe.
Faster.
I don't know.
Oh, that definitely, Brian. Yes, that's a hard lick. I don't know how you don't. That car would got to be crabbing or something. It's going to be dog tracking. Oh man. So Early caution. Now, a couple of seasons ago in the SRU
I'm gonna
Truck
have you
Series,
talk real
ironic
quick. I do have to use the restroom, so I'm gonna have you talk.
10-4. Ironically, historically, the way my mind works, I can remember races just about pretty easily. Uh, there was an SRU truck race here a couple of years ago. I want to say maybe a year ago that I think it was Zach Deutscher getting into the back of David Cassidy. So how ironic is that the tables turned? Just coinky dink, I guess. I mean, some people say there's no coincidences in life, but um, instead of Zach getting into the back of somebody here, instead somebody got into the back of Zach this time early on in Iowa. So I'm just saying, like history repeated itself, but differently is all I'm saying.
Okay, I'm
So
back. Oof.
what I said while you were gone, that history basically repeated itself, Brian, because I don't know if you remember, but I remember there was an SRU, I think it was SRU truck race from here. Zach got into the back of David Cassidy within the first 5 laps. I think it was lap 2, going into turn 1. Basically the same thing happened, but it was a truck race. So
Haha, Shohei.
I don't, like I said, Brian, I don't know if you remember that, but
I do.
I remember it.
I think
Okay, good.
I
It
think,
was
but I
Cassidy that he
think
got
that
it.
one was 3 and 4 though. I don't think it was 1 and 2.
What? I think it was 1 and 2. I know it was Zach and Cassidy. I remember who it was that got involved
Oh
in the
yeah.
wreck because
But I'm saying I don't think it was 1 and 2. Maybe I'll have to go back and look because I think I still have all those. I keep them
yeah,
in
that
a
was
weird
a
folder. That was way back. Ooh, what, 2 years?
yeah. Like I said, it feels like it was 2, don't it?
It does.
That's what it feels like. At least a year and a half ago.
What a good knuckle curve. Alright, well, so these drivers are getting relined back up. Try not to get too distracted here from the World Series.
I can't spell Iowa to save my life. If I had
IOWA.
I know, right? If someone had a sharp object at my head, or a barrel of something, it would not end well.
Now, well,
Well,
come on now.
I'm just saying, it's only a 4-letter word. You would think I'd be able to, it's like got to go back to first grade, learn the states. I don't even know if they still do that in first grade. When do they do that, Brian? Anyway, so pace car is off. Safety and confined to pit road. Reboot here. So, flagman waving that flag. We are back underway. Green flag is out. And let's see if we can get more than 1 lap under our belt.
So, well, if we watch, you can see how these cars jump around. That's how bumpy the track is. Oh god, he better not hit a home run.
It is a bumpy track. It's never been, this version of Iowa has never been reprofiled unless you were to actually go there in the real world now at the corners. For some reason, the track president
Hello,
and all the
James.
people that
How's it
own,
going? Sorry about that.
you're good. That Brian, the people that actually operate Iowa Speedway, it was real bumpy. The track was actually starting to come up in the corners, like what happened at Martinsville years ago when Jeff Gordon got a chunk of concrete flung up in his radiator. So
Oh, geez, that's going way back.
yes, exactly. So they knew they had to do something to this track, and the best thing that they kind of came up with was basically just patchwork, a big patchwork done to the corners, both ends of the track. Oh man, Phillip, that old, just the way that that old racing line throws you up out of the corner, turn 4, and it shoots you just like at Richmond. Like I said, this track very similar configuration type to Richmond. It'll just sling you up out of the corner.
So as you see here, Will, we
Nick,
got two distinguished lines. You see
mm-hmm.
Raider on the outside in 3 and 4, but low on 1 and 2. While the leader and Gilmore stick to the bottom. Eventually, third wall going to start shifting up to that outside lane, because eventually that bottom lane is going to get worn out with too much heat, and it's going to start slipping. So where the outside lane isn't getting any hotter.
Yes, just like what you alluded to, Brian. As long as there's cars on that part of the track, it's going to have heat built up in it. It's going to keep temperature. But as long as there's no cars racing on that particular part of the track, it's going to stay at that moderate, even temperature that the track is normally going to be baking at. But if you have heat like these cars carry, the engines, the tires, the brakes, and all that carries heat, so that makes the track heat up even more on those particular lanes that these cars are carrying. So, and like we talked about, some drivers won't even venture into the middle lane here, and others will. So that middle lane, for the most part, will probably be one of the coldest on the track. The very top next to the wall and down towards the bottom next to that yellow paint is where you will probably see the most temperature heated lanes, like what Brian was alluded to. So you got to be careful when transitioning to a different part of the track that maybe hasn't been ran in a lot. You know, like we have said before in past broadcasts, it may not have rubber built up yet. You need that rubber built up to have grip on the track. If you run somewhere that don't have that rubber built up, it will be slick for a few laps until you get that rubber laid down on that particular section. Already and out already. What happened? What happened with Glaber? I looked down and I missed it. What was it? A pop up? What happened? Oh my! I didn't know this turned into MLB The Show. Anyway, I mean that is what we're. Anywho, so let me get my spy sheet back out. Because without that, I'm pretty much toast. Good tight knit battle for second position here. My apologies. Jeff Gilmore, Nick Rader, Brandon Hartwell, Philip Bridgman, all up here, and they are all within. Excuse me. All within a second of each other, pretty much.
Yes.
A half a second. How far ahead are you? Holy cow. Was it the first pitch?
I don't know. Not sure.
Oh, it was. How come I'm behind tonight? That's not fair. I'm always ahead. That's not fair. Anyway, what an intense battle as Gilmore had some real quick, hot lap pace. Like I said, impressive qualifying pace by Gilmore, but now Gilmore, oh man, he's struggling now, Brian. You see, he had a tank slapper into the straightaway wall, which the front straightaway we can say is not so straight. It, like we've said before during past broadcasts at Chicagoland, for instance, how we've talked about Chicagoland not being straight at all. The front straightaway here, I keep saying it's a straightaway. It's a slight curve.
It's short.
Yes.
So the second they walk Soto, then I'm guessing the judge's gonna ding it.
Yep.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
You know, Jazz should have been walked last night whenever he got struck out. He should
Yep.
have he should have been walked. It should have made a bases loaded situation because there was a wide pitch all the way to the left of the batters to the strike zone, and even the announcers last night were like, "Yeah, that wide strike zone all of a sudden," and I just I couldn't help but laugh because it was like, you know, after they after the pitcher for the Dodgers tried to fast pitching, and the umpire last night was like, "Nah, bro, that's not cool." Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this is great. See, this is what this World Series was advertised for, baby.
Yep. But you see here, Cassidy's starting to close in
Hell
on
yeah.
Gilmore. Tell you, the Yankees
Yeah,
are toying with the Dodgers. I'm telling you.
Hey, now this has been a great series. Now this
But
is a great series. Now
but if you
this
see,
is what I wanted.
Gilmore got hit those bumps and it upset the rear of his car, so where he had to lift out of it a little bit more than what he wanted to.
And go back to what I alluded to earlier about double diamonding the turns 3 and 4. You're seeing some of these drivers do that, Brian. Especially Gilmore last lap by, you saw him do that. Nick Rader was doing that as well. So, and if you just keep watching them, you were seeing what I mean by double diamonding. And if we have any blind viewers out there in the field, basically double diamonding is when you can get to the center of the apex, but you know that you can get to another apex, basically corner exit apex, and just get down to the center exit of the corner on exit. So you're basically getting to the apex of the corner twice in one corner. That's what I mean by that. And it is a good thing to do at certain tracks, especially Iowa is one of them where if you can get it down, oh man, it can help you tremendously, especially if you have somebody that may be as quick as you or thinks he's as quick as you. You can kind of defend them by kind of having that second diamond off the corner, so to speak. I'm pretty sure we saw Nick Rader do that here. Or where was that where we saw Nick Rader double diamonding? Was that Texas? Where was that? Okay, thank you, Brian. So,
Matter Flaherty, a little sore.
oh wow, what a catch by Kike.
Back-to-back home runs by Judge and
That's.
I love it. But anyway, you see here Cassidy trying to make the pass on the outside of Mr. Yarrow down there on the bottom. But you see there how Cassidy can carry more speed on the outside than Yarrow can on the bottom. So with that bottom lane in 3 and 4, you can't really get the oomph off of it like you can on the outside without it snapping loose on you.
Rangich has been in the lead now for a while, if we can remember right. But he's got Hartwell about a second and a quarter behind. And Nick Rader is in third position behind Hartwell. Gilmore, over 2 3/4 now off the pace. But he has fallen back into fourth position. So that's not too bad, Brian, after at one point I believe he was all the way down to 7th, but he's gained back up a little bit of ground from what he lost after being tonight's pole sitter. Biggest movers currently, after being 35 laps complete, we have Brandon Hartwell up 7, Michael Yarrow and David Cassidy up 5 positions respectfully, and Jim Coleman'sberger is plus 5 in 9th position, always eyeing at least a top 10 if Jim can in every race he's ever a part of. But he always can. I feel like he has a top 5 car almost every time he gets behind the wheel, Brian.
He does.
He's a sleeper, I feel like, Jim Coleman'sberger. Gotta watch him. Man, Rizzo, why you take that? Wow. Is it raining up there?
No. It rained earlier.
Oh, okay. So closing in our stage break at the moment, our fastest lap is by our fastest lap driven by Nick Rader. I was just trying to get that sentence out of my mouth with the best English sounding sentence, that didn't sound all redneckified. So Nick Rader with the fastest lap of a 23.660. You thought I was going to say another 6, didn't you? So 23.660 is our fastest lap currently. We have a couple of drivers in the 23.6s.
So 5 more laps and they will get their stage.
Yes, the top 5 drivers will be awarded points. And you see Nick Rader and Hartwell going at it. Both of them twitching equally, I feel like, coming off of turn number 4. So trying to have drive off and back to power off of turn number 4 seems to be a bit of a heartache for pretty much everybody out here except for Rongich. Rongich, always a smooth operator, it seems like, everywhere he goes. People always know. No Hollywood Undead fans, I guess, so that's okay. Have you heard their new single?
I haven't.
It's alright.
I didn't even know they put out one.
Yeah, man, all these bands coming back like they never left.
Right?
Did you see Crossfade apparently came back too?
I did.
Man, this is deja vu. This is weird. I love it. Yep. This has happened. Well,
So
in a dream, obviously, but...
One more lap and they will be at their stage.
Looks like Rongich will win this stage. Very dominant
Performance.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hartwell 2nd, Nick Rader 3rd, Jeff Gilmore 4th, and looks like Michael Yarrow will get that final point in 5th position for this stage. David Cassidy 6th, Philip Bridgman 7th, Zach Deutscher 8th, Jim Coleman'sberger 9th, J.D. O'Brien 10th, Terry Duguay 11th, Kevin Roy 12th, Jason Adams 13th, Danny Story 14th, James Small 15th, Bobby D 16th. Michael Palmer is in pit road, but he's 13 laps down. I don't know what is wrong or what's awry with the Palmer mobile. I don't think he was collected in that lap 1 crash, but Bryce Gainey, I don't think he's got back out there. Something happened with his automobile.
Hey, under 20 pitches in the inning 2, it's pretty damn good.
Was that slider called a strike?
Yep.
Oh, and he struck him out.
So they're all going to pit here. Take advantage of them freshies. Hey, did you see Bubba Ray's going to team up with Trick Williams on Wednesday?
That's cool. I guess he found a new Devon, eh? Come on, you were waiting on that. You were waiting on me to say that. Come on now. All right, Muncie, come on. You can finally hit something now. You can do it. Got to keep the game interesting. Come on now. Come on. And oh, well, I mean, you could have swung at that. Could have just went and sat down. So we will get Wongich down in here. Let's go ahead and pull him up in the booth. Might as well. He can talk and he can multitask. It's okay. Wongich.
Yellow.
Zachary. Hello. So stage winner again tonight. Just winning all the stages that you can. It's like a sorry, like a Pac-Man game. Just waka waka waka. Just trying to keep the momentum built up here at Iowa, and what is maybe the takeaways that you might be struggling with, or everyone else could be having to fight with you?
I don't feel like I'm struggling any. I think you just gotta, as long as you're patient in the center and you don't try to rush to the throttle, you're just gonna burn the right front if you do that. So just wait for the nose to start coming back downhill, and don't push throttle. Don't let it push exit. You'll save your tires, and it'll just compound, and hopefully you can pull away without even really trying. If you just be fast enough, you gotta know that everybody else will have to go faster than that to get by you, which is insurance that they'll just burn their stuff up. So just got to be patient. Patient on throttle. It gets a little loose on exit, you can burn the right rear, and it can be a little tight entry and center if you overdrive entry. So just got to be easy with it.
And that's exactly what. Go ahead.
At any time in the race, are you going to try to finesse that outside lane?
Oh, you guys got to go to the lead. I was working the wall on 3 and 4. But
yeah, too.
Oh hell no! There's a bump up there. That could stay.
I was gonna say your teammate was about around 4 times riding that outside.
Did he do good, or was it just because he messed up entry?
No, it was he hit his entry right, but his ass end was kicking around.
Yeah, see, that's exactly it. No, I'm good. I'll stay down here where I'm at.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Will. Sorry.
So yes, just being smooth and getting back to the throttle as patient as possible, right? That's how you drove out to that over basically 3-second lead at the end of the stage, if I'm not mistaken. So, man.
Yeah.
So maybe good luck, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this thing, Raj.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
Thank you. You know, if that asthma would leave me alone, I'd have a good night. Anyway, COPD or whatever it could be besides asthma. Good old hacker's cough, smoker's cough. Got to hack it away. So Wongich Hartwell will be the front row. Raider and Yarrow, row number 2 here for this restart. Here at Iowa, racing in the cornfields, I always like to say.
A good restart, Will, by Wongich.
Everybody on the outside is going to have a good restart if they can just time it, get it going, and up to speed. Of course, I always say anybody who's not the leader is going to have a disadvantage, especially on iRacing or anytime you do have these manual restarts, which that's what you have in iRacing. So always going to be true advantage, which you know the leader should have advantage. You know, you're the race leader. You got that advantage by being able to be out front and I don't think a restart should always be so even that it's a drag race going into turn one, right? Like that, like you have to time it. You have to be just as skillful as the race leader, timing it to and David Cassidy gets loose, but he saves it. What a save! That
Remember,
car could have
those
been just
tires are
yes.
you got to build the heat up. Or what I also did notice, if you're starting to slip the rear end, you can either be, well, in other words, like a little later in the run, you are overdriving the turn, or that you got so much build up in it where now you got to back it down. What a hit, Cole. Good job, buddy. Good hit.
Yeah, you were so far ahead of me, bro. Are you watching this on YouTube TV or like your other app, or what are you watching it on? Oh, okay, that's probably why. If you're not, okay. Heck yeah, I agree with you. Heck of a hit. I was talking to my uncle today. We're both big baseball fans, right? And I'm like, if the Yankees win this World Series, Anthony's going to get the MVP, I believe, if the Yankees win. So at the moment, Long is trying to pull away to another decent cushion lead, but he's got a half a second over teammate Nick Rader. Zach Deutscher has 8/10, almost a second back. Philip Bridgman, second back, pretty much. Brandon Hartwell, a second and a half. So that is the top 5 separation.
Good hit.
Michael Yarrow is 2.5 seconds back. Jim Coleman'sberger still riding strong in 9th position. Just talk about Jim real quick. Nobody around Jim. He's cruising all by him lonesome at the moment. He's trying to chase down David Cassidy, but we know how well. Oh, we got Philip spinning. No, he didn't fully spin. He just slid off of turn 4. So, like you said, Brian, got to be careful. And also allude to what Ronic talked about while we had him up here, trying to just be as patient as you can coming up off these corners, getting back to that throttle. If not, it will bite you. So, man, and Philip is going to lose so much track position. He goes from being 4th position down into 12th position, losing 8 spots.
Yeah, you can get loosey-goosey, and sometimes it's a pain. And then
Jason.
you gotta get resituated again, and pitches.
And it's only the bottom of the second.
Let's go.
Poor Jack.
Good way to score him. Absolutely, Verdugo.
Man, he called that a strike? That was a strike? No. What? Yarrow getting back.
I was going to say Yarrow, yeah. Okay,
No, wait, no. Gilmore has been running Yarrow down. My apologies. So, yeah, Yarrow and Cassidy actually running down Gilmore, and Cassidy running down Yarrow. My apologies, Brian.
No, you're good. Haha, you took your picture out already.
It happens.
Bandit.
Where's this guy from?
We see here Yarrow now starting to close in on Zach Deutscher.
Now this battle, this little scrimmage right now that's about to be taking place for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions here. What you see in your picture frame from car 25 all the way back to car 17. Jim Coleman'sberger is only a second behind David Cassidy. There he is, right there, coming into the picture frame before the camera tilted around. So let's ride on board with Jim and just see how close he actually is to this battle, this F1 style battle. There you see all the cars in front of Jim now as Jim, like I said, good run so far for Jim. As Jim is actually doing what I said, oh my goodness, I probably would be scared of doing, just throwing that car in the middle lane. And he's really keeping at it, and you get a good feel for that double diamond off of turn number 4, or through 3 and 4, I should say, and then riding on board again into turn 1. He doesn't quite get all the way through it in turns 1 and 2, but he's more or less in the middle of 1 and 2. Like I said, something that might be a bit treacherous as you see the battle getting a bit more heated up in front. Hartwell trying to drive away, but that is Deutscher and Yarrow going at it for 4th and 5th positions right in front of us. And then, least we forget that Cassidy and Gilmore right behind Deutscher and Yarrow. Fuel mileage tonight, Brian, haven't talked about it because I didn't know if we were going to see green flag pit stops tonight or not tonight. I'm trying to combine so many words at one time here, but anywhere from maybe 84, 83 laps to maybe 92 laps. Maybe a little bit more. Could have a 10-lap window there of it being open, depending on if you're saving or what you're doing, Brian. So,
Oh yeah.
But just the next.
See side by side here, Will, with Philip Bridgman and JD, as JD wraps that outside lane there. Gets a little wall contact there. Trying to slow him out a little bit. But he gets a good entry on the bottom. Hits the apron a little bit. And 3 and 4.
So 73 laps into this race, Brian. Longett's still our race leader by over half a second over Nick Rader in 2nd position. Brandon Hartwell still in 3rd. Deutscher, Yarrow, that battle still ever present with one another. If we want to now, we can step away and crank it up and do some more right on boards and just those wall camera angles that we have. So get some more views as the setting sun sets here at Iowa. Well, riding on board with just about everybody on the lead lap here. This is James Small in 13th position. He's in a battle right now with Kevin Roy to his inside going into turns 1 and 2 here. Kevin Roy takes that position away going into the 12th position, putting Small in the 13th position. So nice little crank it up for 10 laps. Riding on board with at the moment, it was the top 12. We didn't get Kevin Roy, but that's okay. We can get Kevin in a minute. So Zachary Rongich, still your race leader over Nick Rader, and still 5/10 of a second, half a second deficit over Rader. Hartwell 2 seconds back, and then second and a quarter behind him is Zach Deutscher. Michael Yarrow in 5th position, and Jeff Gilmore, who is down 5 positions from starting on the pole, in 6th position. David Cassidy, 7th position. Jim Comensberger in 8th. Jason Adams 9th. Philip Bridgman 10th. Kevin Roy 11th. Danny Story, James Small, J.D. O'Brien, and Bobby D, who kind of is in danger of going a lap down. He's in the danger zone, I would have to say. He's just a few seconds off the pace, or away from being off the pace of being a lap down. As we see back here, this little battle going on for 13th position, 13th and 12th positions here, 13th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Sorry, my dyslexia, I guess you could say, kicked in. I have a bad tangent about saying my bigger number first before the smaller number actually should be first, right? So let's just overlook that, if we will. So everybody came in and pitted at lap 46. And this race is 175 laps, right, Brian? You still there, Brian? We see back here 13th positions, or 13th and 14th, James Small and Danny Story exchanging those positions. Let me see where we will be at next week for the SRU Xfinity Series. I just saw earlier, but Kansas Speedway. We will be at that D-shaped 1.5 miles next week. Then after Kansas, we will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway to be at the narrowest mile and a half. Watkins Glen after Charlotte. And then
Sorry, I'm back.
welcome back.
Thank you.
So the next 3 races will be Kansas, Charlotte, and Watkins Glen, Brian.
All good tracks.
Yes, sir. I don't think there's a bad one out of the bunch of those 3. So, yes, indeed. Longage still your race leader over Raider. This time, Raider has pulled that lead out to be almost a 1.25 seconds, Brian. Just about, not quite. But him, Raider, and Hartwell is actually in a battle. Battling for second position. Hartwell is now trying to take it to Raider. And then Deutscher has Michael Yarrow giving him some grief as well. He's 3/10 right while he's on him. So we have battles everywhere, Brian. Because if we remember right what you just took us off of, J.D. O'Brien has James Small all over him. And Danny Story has Bobby D currently working him over. So there's still battles all over the place here. Go back to that battle for second, Brian, because that's a bit spicier than anything else on track. Yes, indeed. They're side by side going through 3 and 4 right now.
Very tight, for sure.
Well, the way the World Series is looking, Brian, it looks like it's going to go and get all tied up, and it's going to come down to a 7 game. A game 7, my apologies. You know, a full 7 game series. That'd be sweet in a way, because that's, it's really what you want as a fan of both teams here. Just want to see a lot of good ball being played. Just like you see every time you tune in to the BNR Racing Network and expect to see hard-nosed, hard-fought racing. If anybody out there knows what BNR stands for. But, so good hard-nosed racing. You still want it to be clean, but rubbing is racing at the end of the day. You know, you want a little bit of, argy-barginess. You don't want anybody ever to, to be, feel like they got disowned in any way, but still, racing is racing. As long as you had fun, though, that's always what counts at the end of the day. You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, you just, as I always said, don't need to be doing it. Got to be having fun. Oh, pit stops are happening. Nick Rader coming into the pits. This is around the time I was kind of thinking pit stops would happen. So this is a 175 lap race, right, Brian?
170.
Okay, 10-4. Yeah, I asked you that question and you were AFK, and like I said, I don't have, SDK gives me how many laps they have ran in total, but not how many laps there is to run. And I didn't have, I've got the World Series pulled up, so I didn't have my handy dandy, basically my second screen, like how I normally do. So, anywho, but that's okay. I was trying to figure out earlier when you had stepped away when pit stops might be occurring.
You are okay, sir.
Now all we need is Otani to hit a home run, and Aaron Judge and Otani's stats will still be pretty much almost parallel for the World Series, that is. It's kind of ironic how, supposedly the 2 best hitters.
Nope. He's right out to left
Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh, when would you prefer to make your pit stop, Brian? If you were racing here at Iowa, are you always one of those people that, hey, just let me go as long as possible, or just, when everybody else starts to pit, you don't want to get caught off with their fresh tires and their lap time being able to maybe run you down, so to speak, with the offset of tires?
Well, that also depends on what position I'm sitting in as the pit stops are happening. I normally try to go like 3 to 2 laps before empty is when I'll normally pit. Normally. Or if they all start piling in, a lap in it, maybe a lap or 2 laps after is when I'll come in. It really just depends. But with this group, very hard because everybody's got different strategies.
Yes, there's always a mixed bag of strategies here in the SRU Xfinity Series. Like you say, you have drivers that are always able to kind of, I don't want to say always run hard, but always have that capability of being able to do that because they have that longevity, so to speak.
Yes, sir. So you see there, Will Rongich now pits, Deutscher now pits, Bobby D, and Story. I noticed I still got that ticker going across. You want to tell. So Hartwell's still staying out with Yarrow and Adams. Never mind, Brandon Hartwell now comes into the pits.
Rhea Ripley has been written off WWE TV indefinitely. She is legitimately injured.
Is she though?
I don't know.
You see there,
I
Will
don't know.
now Yarrow now pits. Oh, Liv Morgan and Rockwell went to NXT and beat her back.
Well, Dodgers still scoreless in the bottom of the third inning here. So that's kind of good, because Dodgers, in a way, if they're going to win a ball game, I feel like the Dodgers kind of, in a way, need to be.
Yes, Stanton,
They need
home run.
runs.
Good job. Sorry.
We're trying not to give spoilers, Brian, but we do a terrible job at that too. So, yes, indeed, Giancarlo getting another. I feel like either Giancarlo gets MVP or Anthony gets MVP if the Yankees win the World Series. You know what I mean? Because of what both have done in this series so far at the batter's box. Just out. Well, not just that, because Anthony has 2 stolen bases too. So that's got to give some type of credit there or merit, to getting MVP. Then you can actually compare him to Derek, right?
Yes, sir.
No. Oh, okay. And Dave Roberts is having a tough go at it tonight, being the manager for the Dodgers. I tell you, I would hate to be Dave Roberts tonight, Brian. Like to get his paycheck, but I'd hate to be that job. You know. Ooh. Mookie with an outstanding catch and right, but that's Mookie for you. So at this moment in time, what are you sorry for?
Had a phone call. And that is very unprofessional. I can't do that.
I mean, at least you
Muted, right?
weren't gone. Well, yeah. At least you were muted, and plus you weren't gone as long as you were a while ago. Like I was kind of scared. I'm like, did you have a heart attack on me? You know, like.
I might have.
You know
when Stanton hit that home run.
Right. Do you know what they said about George? Do you know what they said about George, right?
George.
He had a heart attack. Oh, never mind. You done ruined it. Anyway, you know, I can recite George Carlin. That might be bad sounding for so.
I miss that man.
You know, me and you both, but that's okay. That's a different subject. If we talk about him too long, a lot of people will get upset. So we can't do that.
No, we can't.
Oh, look at
As you know, he does have a very good sports chant. If you want to hear it.
Oh, another time, Brian. It'll have to be another time. So.
And it goes like this.
I said another time, right? So. Pit cycle of... No, it's not. It's over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. I don't know where I'm at. I'm still lost. So, luckily, that show...
on the subject of George Carlin.
Nick Rader taking the lead away from Zachary Rongich there, and now opened up a gap of over 2.5 seconds. I don't know if Rongich had a whoopsie or what happened. But let me see the pit lap difference. Actually, do you think Rader just was able to get in and pit sooner with that short pit and get some speed back? Because Rongich pits just a few laps later, but pit lap 107 for Rader and 115 for Rongich. So maybe that amount of time with the fresh tires for Rader allowed him to drive something back and even overlap Rongich at the moment. Like I said, I don't know if something happened. I just saw Rader go by Rongich on the scoring screen, so...
Yeah, I'm going to say with his early pit, helped him out a little bit. Because he knew that if he had the fresh tires, and everybody's going to start pitting a couple of laps after. So if I pit early, but now you also got to remember, I don't know if they're good to go on fuel. With him pitting that early, I don't know.
I believe they should be good to go on fuel from when Rader pitted at 107, Brian. Like I said earlier, I do believe fuel mileage, at least of the earliest you can come in, is lap 84, I do believe, Brian. So they should be golden. At first, I was kind of questioning it because I thought it was 175 was the distance tonight, but you said it's 170, so... They most certainly should, now in iRacing you have that option not to fill it all the way full. You can only get just as much gas you need to make it home, per se, so that could have been what Rader did, you know what I mean? So every extra less second you take in the pits is a second not being on track. And if you look at the pit time as well, it's basically almost a half a second
So he
on
might have took
Longich.
a little less fuel than everybody else.
Yes, sir.
But they all probably took more just in case if they have a GWC. But you see here, Will, Rongich is now running down his teammate of Nick Rader.
Did you see Trump earlier riding around in a garbage truck, waving to everybody?
No, I didn't.
Did you see the other day he was working at a McDonald's?
Yes.
That was some great stuff.
That's because he's trying to win Pennsylvania.
I know it. I was just anyway. Rongich is driven back to Rader.
Because technically, if he wins Pennsylvania, that's it.
Hopefully. I mean, what? Anyway, so we have currently 9 cars on the lead lap, but Jason Adams' old job is in the danger zone of being the next car 1 lap down as Rongich looking to the inside of Rader, side by side for the lead going into turn 1. These are teammates, don't want to commit teammate on teammate crime, as we see a lot of the times happening whenever teammates go into battle with one another. As Rader looking down, crossing over, Rongich going into turn 3, way downstairs. Oh, and he's going to slide, get loose. Man, oh man, you got to remember, Rongich has 7 lap fresher tires at least than Rader.
Yes, he does.
140 laps complete, Brian, and they've been caution. No, they haven't. 1 caution, if you don't count the stage caution. So, pretty tremendous job here tonight at a track that we know from experience can be quite treacherous at times, and we've already seen it tonight. It has been a bit slippery.
Oh yeah. Very slippery.
Does Anthony Rizzo forget that there is a net out there and like he's wearing a glove and like he could break some fingers or like a wrist or something jamming that up against a net?
Well, he God damn it. He caught the one ball
I know.
over there. That's just Rizzo. Rizzo always does that.
Yeah, Rizzo plays hard, I know. It's just like, man. Jim Coleman's Burger.
Hello?
Still on.
Uh-oh. I think I lost audio.
With who? With yourself? With me? With who? Hello in the dead of night. Brian. Brian. Wow! What a tremendous catch. An outstanding catch. Judge actually went for something. Wow!
Well, 25 to go.
25 laps to go here in this banger of a race, I might have to say, because at one point, Rader was maybe trying to give Rongich something to run for his money, had some strategy, but he's now fallen to the wayside. He's now in 3rd position, right where he started. I might add. We have a new fastest lap driven at the moment by Zach Deutscher, a
Will Roberts.
23.622, a 23.622. Yeah, I used to drive the 7 car around here, Brian. Yes, you do have a point.
Yeah. Almost are coming together with Kevin Roy and Zach Deutscher.
Kevin Roy having a good run at it too. He's currently 10th, but a lap down at the moment. But you know, sometimes that's okay as long as you get that top 10, you get some points, and you walk into the next race.
What do you think about Garrett Cole, huh?
Well, he's a great pitcher. World Series winner with the Houston Astros, banging on some garbage cans, but you know, outstanding player.
Sarongich now puts down Terry 5 laps down. Haha, Muncie. So 18 laps to go, Will.
Yes, indeed, 18 to go here. Longich has pretty much dominated this race. It's pretty much been a RKR race. Longich and Raider have led a pretty big, significant combined total.
Well, if you're looking on Adams here, you see Rongich literally right there in his sights.
Yes, like we talked about earlier, Adams' next car to go 1 lap down once they get to him. But look at that. Hartwell has caught up. Hartwell has caught up to Zach Rongich there in the 38. So the 25 and 38 in the same picture frame. Rongich no longer has a comfortable buffer. So it's going to be a shootout here in the final 15 laps of this race, Brian.
As you see, Brandon Hartwell down on the bottom there, Will, trying to get everything he can out of that machine. Is Jason Adams going to put up a fight to Rongich? To do everything he can to stay on every lap. No? Okay.
Well, some people, you know, just prefer it to, you know, if you are off the pace, kind of get out the way. Others, just mind you, just hold your line, stick with it. But with the leaders, you know, first and second place battling here like they are, what do you do, Brian? If the leaders are coming up to you, what would you do? That old saying, you know, how would Jesus do? But
What would I do?
what?
I don't really think
Well,
you want that answer.
well, no, you're not Jesus, but yeah. What would different people do in different scenarios? We see it all the time in the real world, whether it be sports car racing, F1, IndyCar, different rules in different motorsports, different sanctioning bodies. So, like I said earlier, you're mainly just told, hey, just hold your racing line that you're in, as we see Philip being lapped there. So.
Well, I would still race them hard, but because I'm fighting to
I
stay
mean,
on the lead lap. But if I
yeah,
know
because that
if it's like coming to 2 to go, then I'll just move out the way.
well, that's about to be a battle within itself because that's Jim Comensberger and Jason Adams battling for the same position. That's 8th and 9th positions, Brian, on track.
Right now, if I'm the leader,
No,
you
7th and 8th.
gotta take in consideration that these two are fighting for
7th and 8th position here. But this can also come into play for Brandon Hartwell. Almost 3 wide, man. Rongich just don't want to put himself in this position. Oh, but he's going to take it in the middle. Oh, man. Oh, so close to just having so much heartbreak happening, and he's still not by him completely. Like you say, Brian, they are putting up a fight because we say it each and every week, each and every broadcast. You want goals set for you at the end of these races. You want to try to be there. You want to try to at least finish on the lead lap. You want to finish in the top 5, top 10. And, you know, if it's a track that you're really good at, you think you can thrive and be successful. I want to win. You know, you have goals you have to set for yourself, you know, to maybe strive and thrive to be successful in sim racing, whether it even be professional sim racing or amateur sim racing, whatever. You want to set goals for yourself. I don't even, you know, if it's a regular online iRacing, you know, ranked lobby that you can lose or gain your iRating license in, right? You have to set goals for yourself in there. You just can't go in there like, oh well. Like you have to be like, well, I got to try to get a 0x this race. I got to keep it off the walls the best I can. I got to keep it off the competitors the best. Oh, Hartwell with a long baseball slide. Man, oh man, you just see how aggressive he's trying to be to run back down Rongich after Rongich was able to clear the traffic. Hartwell hasn't fully been able to clear the traffic. I think that's going to really, unless Rongich has a mistake, something happens to Rongich, that has really set it in stone now for Rongich to take the victory here, unless something happens to that 38 mobile. But at the moment, it's looking to be Rongich's way with only 4 laps remaining.
3
laps remaining.
3.
Coming, and now on the penultimate lap of the race here. So white flag will wave next time by as Rongich just sees nothing but just great clear view in front of him and has a good buffer behind him at Iowa. This is a good buffer. This is a good breathing. What?
That's a good hit, Soto.
Oh, okay. Yep, 10 plus. Hold on. White flag will be waving this time for Rongich. It's in the air. Barney the flagman is dislocating his shoulder, just like Otani did a few nights ago. And here we go. Final lap of the race in the cornfields at Iowa. The cornfield, Iowa, whatever distance race this is, 170. So, I didn't get the mileage. My apologies. Oh, thank you. So, 150 here, as Rongich takes the W and gets the win all in the same time. That's what that means. So Rongich first, Brandon Hartwell did everything he could but get second. Zach Deutscher gets by and past Nick Rader. Man, we were so caught up with the battle for the lead that I don't know what happened to Nick, man. Nick Rader, fourth position, losing out on the podium. We're not going to get to talk to Nick tonight. Michael Yarrow, fifth, comes home, top five. Jeff Gilmore, sixth position. Jason Adams gets by Jim. Oh, man. Jim and Jason. Jason seventh, Jim eighth. Good top 10 for Jim, and even better run for Jason. Jason up 10 positions from where he started. Kevin Roy, top 10 night. Always know he's probably going to be there or thereabouts, if not further up the field. James Small, 11th place. J.D. O'Brien, 12th. Bobby D, 13th. Danny Story, 14th. Terry Duguay, 15th. Cassidy, 16th. Palmer, 17th. Gainey, 18th. And the others did not start. And we will get the podium finishers here in just a momentarily second. Great race here tonight at Iowa, even though it was kind of dominated by the RKR bunch, but nevertheless, it was action packed. You know, we had different strategy afoot. Only two cautions. The first caution early on in the stage break, but now, Zach Deutscher, man, how'd you get by and get up there to Nick Rader? Did his stuff just burn up, or what happened to Nick?
Yeah, I think he just pitted a little too early, and it's kind of a downfall. But it was 7 laps earlier, so
Yes.
I knew I was going to run down. I just didn't know how much time I was going to have left to do it.
10-4, we saw you, with help from the 8, bring out the first caution of the evening. After that, it was a drive back recovery for you. And just basically tell us about that and trying to set yourself up with trying to get back to a top 5 run tonight.
Yeah, it was a good race, and I really don't want to talk about that accident. That's just no comment on that. But yeah, all in all, the car was really good, especially on the really long runs. It seemed like after 30 laps, what we get have a comeback on the tires, which was really nice. Right. But all in all, good race for the most part. I don't really know what to say. Proud of the team. We got third, so on to the next race.
Were you struggling with corner exit like we saw some drivers struggling with, or were you mainly struggling with corner entry? What were you mainly fighting tonight, Zach?
Center. Turned in and out were fine. Just the center I could not turn for a while. Yeah, let the tires come back. But yeah, it was center off. Well, not really center off. It's literally just center, because off I'm fine. Just trying to rotate in the center of the corner was my issue.
Well, next week, Zach, we'll be going to one of your favorite tracks historically. It'll be Kansas. What's the thought process going into Kansas next week, bud?
Try to find some way to pull something on the ass to beat Zach. That's really all we can all say, really, at this point, unfortunately.
Well, 10-4, best of luck to you. Thanks for talking to us tonight, Mr. Deutscher. And final thoughts, shout-outs, anything else?
Shout out to you guys. Love watching you guys broadcast while racing. It's absolute pleasure and appreciation to you guys. STR Motorsports, decent race for both of us. Definitely could have been better, but you can't complain for a new team. All the sponsors, Ford, your charity. On to the next race.
Yes, forward on to Kansas, bud. Hopefully we'll be talking to you next week there.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
No problem, buddy.
Brandon Hartwell next up, finishing P2. Great, valiant effort, but just coming up one spot short here tonight. Brandon. Got a copy, Brandon. Hey, how you doing tonight besides, coming out one spot short?
Oh, man, that last stint, I was driving my butt off trying to get to Zach.
Oh, you were.
And I seen that he was coming up on Jason and Jim, 2 teammates. That's just how it happens. And I was like, stay beside each other, guys. Kind of let me get to his rear. He made a power move and got by him, and then he kind of just drifted away from me because I had burned off my right rear. At least it felt like it, because I couldn't drive off the corner no more without it sideways.
Yeah, it was a heck of a scrap because they were in their own little tussle of their own. Like you said, they might be teammates, but they're still trying to get all the positions and points they can in these races, and it's almost kind of difficult because me and Brian were talking about it. Like, what do you do? Like, do you battle it out in your own little battle? Do you pull over for just a moment, like just a blink of an eye, to let the leaders by, or what do you do? And it turned it into a brief, interesting stint there. And man, after you had that little baseball slide coming out of turn two, that was kind of where Rongich kind of, I feel like, really sealed it away there for him. But yeah, man, you almost came out of nowhere. You really saved your stuff, I feel like, at the end of this, and almost gave it to him, but like I said, just couldn't, just wasn't enough. Like you said, it just started to be a bit too much, and the car started to slide more than you wanted it to. And after that, you just couldn't do too much. Next week's going to be Kansas, though. You think you can get one spot better?
Oh man, I sure hope so. I should have kept wrapping the bottom. There at the right before the last pit stop. I was running the bottom like all that whole stint pretty much.
Yep.
And I was gaining on Nick and Zach, so I was like, I just wanted to get up to him if I had to, give him the chrome horn to get by, but I didn't want to be that disrespectful to Zach. I know we've had some good races.
Yeah, it was a great battle there in those closing laps between you two, and like you said, the previous races prior where you guys had really went at it. Final thoughts, shout outs, anything else before we let you go?
Just a good finish. Awesome racing overall. We did what, 130 laps green. I mean, I love this kind of racing. Shout out to you guys for putting on a broadcast. It's always fun going back and watching it. Shout out to the league. That was one heck of a race, man. That's the stuff I look forward to.
Yes, indeed, sir. Well, hopefully we'll be talking to you next week at Kansas, Brandon.
All right, thanks, fellas.
No problem, buddy. Awesome job.
Oh, Garrett Cole finally gave up his first hit of the evening, I do believe. Or is that his second? Oh, well. Now, race winner and stage winner, Zachary Rongich here this evening. Grab him with our handy-dandy cane. So, Zach, you did it here tonight after a dominant performance here, but it wasn't to say that it wasn't, almost on pins and needles for you for a moment because Hartwell and, his basically, almost like the three amigos out there. But just tell us about just trying to keep Hartwell at bay and also just trying to get it done here tonight.
Yeah, well, before that last pit stop, I was starting to think, I'm like, well, I didn't practice the entry pit road, so we're just gonna wing it, and we did, and it turned out not to be too bad. I just had to tell myself when I came out that because Nick short pitted the crap out of us, that just don't push him, we're gonna get to him naturally. And then I was starting to lose my patience a little bit racing him. I mean, I probably only took a couple laps to get around him, but in the car it feels like forever. And once I got around him, Hartwell was there, so I just had to be patient and not push the tire, knowing that he would have to go over me to get to me, which would just be really hard. I'm already right there on the edge of grip, so he would have to be really good at basically drifting the car to gain any time, and then I'd defend the high side, so it'd been tough for him. But he definitely had a couple lap fresher tires than me. I knew that, so I was just trying to be patient with it and just let the car do the work. Don't hustle it at all. And if you just be consistent enough, somebody who's chasing you will make a couple mistakes.
And like you say, mistakes can be made, and they were made tonight a couple of times, like you said, by some chasees. But unfortunately, you kept them at bay. That exit out of turn four sometimes can be a bit tricky, like you say, and with the front straightaway being a bit curved like it is. We saw some competitors just extend all the way to the wall. How do you kind of take it, and do you compare it like I do to Richmond here? How it just kind of throws you out to the wall on corner exit there.
Yeah, 3 and 4 is definitely Richmond. 1 and 2, I wouldn't say so much.
Mm-hmm.
The exit of 2 is not as narrow. You kind of sometimes you gotta bring it to the wall because if you do the corner right, you don't the speed doesn't carry you there. You don't want the speed to carry you there. You'll just scrub the right front. But yes, turn 3 and 4 is a lot like Richmond. It's a little bit more banked, and there's a little bump. So if you're on the bottom, you want to stay as low as long as possible and drive straight up, and it'll grip. But if you start pushing it and you're going to the wall, and there's like a little hill you gotta climb, it gets real loose. So yeah, it's pretty sketchy, but it's fun. It's racy.
Next week, Rogich, next Kansas. You think you can get another W at Kansas, or is it going to be a bit more of a fight?
Oh, we can get it up anywhere. It's just whether or not it all falls in our lap. These guys are good, and any one of them can really win any week. It's just like I didn't make a mistake today, and I only won by a second. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have to be perfect to win these, um, and that's what it takes. And a lot of these guys are good enough to do that. So we'll see. I think I'll be fast enough, but that doesn't mean it'll fall in my favor.
And at the end of the day, it all comes down to, the end of these races. You have to be there when it matters and when it counts. Like you say, you got to be perfect. No mistakes, especially in pits. Like you talked about, getting on pits, you can be terrified because you're like, oh, I forgot to practice that. So, like you talked about, you can make a mistake at any moment. Hopefully, you don't next week at Kansas. And thanks for talking to us tonight. Final thoughts, shout outs, anything, Ronald, before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out you guys and all the racers. Shout out the lap cars. They raced me, but they left me room. It was getting sketchy there. I had to put them 3 wide. Brandon was there, but that's just racing. It was a good race.
All right, Rongich. Well, like I said, best of luck to you next week, and thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Well, Brian, that'll definitely do it for us tonight here at Iowa, SRU Xfinity Series. We are off until Monday. So until then, until we meet again, thank you for all the drivers coming out, participating in this race, putting on a show. Without them, wouldn't have the show to put on for you, the fans. So, like we say each and every night, until then, hopefully you all have a wonderful and safe good night.